Hello all. Welcome to the online learning program of MSBTE Learning at Your Doorstep. I am Professor Deepak Kulkarni, Head of Electronics and Telecommunication Department from KVM Polytechnic Mumbai. Welcome you all to the presentation of Digital Factory, in which we will focus on Internet of Things. After the completion of the presentation, the learners would be able to understand the features of IoT, the various stages used in IoT architecture. After completion, the students may try to answer the following questions like give the functions of sensors and what is the need of the gateway. In this presentation, we will come across features of IoT architecture layers. Now, let us first of all go through the concept map of an IoT. As we have already discussed in the previous presentation, the IoT system consists of various components. As you can see in this slide, various IoT devices are used to sense various parameters like temperature, pressure, humidity, and many more parameters. And then the information is given to the gateway, from where it is further given to the cloud or server, where the analysis is done, the information is extracted, and it is then given to the user on various devices. For example, it can be as simple as a phone or a PC or any user hand devices. Now let us go across the features of IoT architecture. For a sustainable IoT architecture, the features required are: first is functionality. What is functionality? The features are the tools that use within a system or complete a task or actions. Functionality is how these features actually work to provide with a desired outcome. The next is the scalability. Scalability is the ability of a device to adapt to the changes in the environment and meet the changing needs in the future. It is an essential feature of any system which has the capability to handle the growing amount of work. That means as per the requirement or changing culture of the environment, the devices should scale up the requirements, or in some cases it should also scale down, so that at any nature of environment it should be operable. The next feature is availability. Availability is the percentage of time that a service or resource is fully available for its intended use. It is a key operating metric in number of industries. That is, it is expected that a system or a resource must be available for a maximum amount of time, and it should be always available for use. The next feature is maintainability. Maintainability refers to the ability of an intelligent system to seamlessly and easily uncouple, fixed and modified without causing an obstruction in systems processing or functionality. That means the system should be easily maintained for any kind of operations. Now these are some of the features for a sustainable IoT architecture. At this level, students can try to attempt MCQ Set 1 given in formative assessment. Now let us look at the IoT architecture layers. The most basic architecture layer is 3-layer architecture as shown in figure A. It was introduced in the early stages of research in IoT. The 3 layers are perception layer, network layer, and application layer. Perception means the ability to understand the thing, that is, it is a sensory experience of the world. The 3-layer architecture defines the main idea of Internet of Things, but it was not sufficient for research on IoT because research often focuses on finer aspects of Internet of Things. That is why we have many more layered architectures proposed. One of it is a 5-layer architecture, which additionally includes the processing and business layers as shown in figure B. Now let us see the stages in detail. The first layer in IoT architecture is a perception layer. As we have talked about, Perception means the ability to understand a thing. That is, it is a sensory experience of the world. So the perception layer is a physical layer which has sensors for sensing and gathering information about the environment. It senses and passes it to the next layer for the processing. It senses the physical parameters or identifies other smart objects in the environment and gives it for the next layer. The next layer is a transport layer. The transport layer transfers the sensor data from the perception layer to the processing layer and vice versa through networks such as wireless, 3G, LAN, Bluetooth, RFID and NFC. So its main function is to only act as a medium of transmission of information from the perception layer to the next layer, that is a processing layer. The processing layer is also called as a middleware layer. Its main function is to store, analyze and process huge amount of data that comes from the transport layer. It can manage and provide a diverse set of services to the layers. It employs many technologies such as database, cloud computing and big data processing module. So this is the layer where the processing of the information obtained from the sensor would be carried out and the information will be now given to the next layer. The next layer is an application layer. This layer is responsible for delivering application specific services to the user. It defines various applications in which Internet of Things can be deployed, for example, as smart homes, smart cities and smart health. So this layer would be basically responsible to provide the information to the user. Once the information is processed at a processing layer, the valuable information is extracted. Now that information would be further only provided to the user through the application layer. And the last layer in the architecture is a business layer. It manages the whole IoT system that includes applications, business and profit models and users' privacy. So these are the 5 basic stages in a sustainable IoT architecture, which starts with the perception layer, which will be used for gathering the information via sensors. Next will be transport layer, which will be simply acting as a medium which will collect the data from sensor and give it to the processing layer. The next layer is a processing layer which will store, analyze and process the data. The next will be the application layer which will be only providing the information to the specific users. And last would be the business layer which will manage the whole IoT system in case of a business model. At this level, students can attempt MCQ Set 2 given in formative assessment. So at the end of the presentation, the learners would have understood the different stages in IoT architecture, which describes how the data is gathered, processed and given to the end users. In the next presentation, we will learn the different routes from the sensors to the cloud. Thank you everyone and have a smart learning.